For today's review, we're going to be looking at a AMT kit of their 1/48 scale F7 Tiger. Now, one thing to note about this kit, after doing a little research, turns out this kit more recently has been reboxed as an F3 kit, both by AMT and by Italeri. So, fair warning, there is a little bit of a issue there, as why in this particular boxing is, I believe, a first or second edition run of the kit, so it still has it listed as an F2, but in reality it's actually a quote F3. Excuse me. So something to be aware of, even though as far as actual building of it, it won't really matter that much, as the F3 only had slightly different engines, so there's not going to be major issues as far as I've been able to find out. So let's open her up. Now, one thing that jumped out at me right away with this kit, at least in this particular run of it, is there is a lot of flashing on the parts. So that will take a lot of time to clean up. But aside from this, the detailing is actually pretty nice. All the mold lines are nice and crisp, easily seen, and allow for a decent amount of detailing up. As you can see by the wings there. Continue on. As I said before, some of the flashing is bad, and you can see it especially bad here on the engine parts, where basically all of this here is not supposed to be there. That's all flashing, and not only that, it's on the thick side, so that's going to take a lot of cleanup. On that though, the munitions that come with the kit consists of several rockets and bombs, all going to build up nicely. One thing here on the bombs though, I'm not sure if that's more flashing or if that's supposed to be there. I do not believe it's supposed to be there, so that will also take some cleaning up. Again, detailing, as I said, on the kit is nice. There's a lot of fine detail that one would not expect from a kit of this age. Cowlings are workable. Nothing really jumps out as an issue. Probably will need to give it a once over with some sandpaper just to make sure it's clean, but other than that, it's nicely done. As I said, not much sticks out. One thing though with the back cockpit, which is a bit of an issue overall, is the detailing is a little soft and squishy. It's definitely could have been better done. Moving on, we have our engines, which are definitely workable. They're not at the same level as, say, our resin piece, but they'll do the trick. Again, detail in the instrument panel is kind of weak, and similarly in the front cockpit, but a lot of that's not going to be seen once you close it up. Here we have our fuselage halves. Some detailing on the sidewalls. Overall, it's a little oddly sized, in my opinion. Could have been done better, but again, for just out of the box, it's good enough. Similarly, here in the main wheel wells, detailing is workable. But overall, it's definitely a nicely rendered kit. Clear parts are, again, nicely done. No seam lines, no ejector pin marks. Now, one thing about, at least my boxing of it, is the decals have yellowed and are on the thicker side. You give them two markings, one an overall blue and one as a yellow test craft. Get more into that in a bit. Now, one thing I did notice here in the back cockpit, which is a major issue, is the lack of a seat. At least in any of the instructions, there is no reference to adding a pilot seat for the rear cockpit. So if you're planning to display this without the pilots, you're kind of in trouble, as yeah, there's basically no seat. So obviously you're stuck doing it as the single seat version, which it does include a part to sort of hide the fact that it has a second cockpit, which it comes later. As I said, yeah, here it does include a cover piece so that you can do it as one or the other. But given the fact that there's no seat, you're going to have to do that. Continuing on, overall, there's nothing major that jumps out in terms of the assembly of the kit. It's all really straightforward and basic, which is nice. Having a kit that's something you can easily throw together is always welcome. So, moving on to the painting instructions. As I said, there's two, one in overall navy blue and one in yellow for a target. Again, as I said, since in both cases you're going to have to close up that aft cockpit, the markings aren't 100% accurate, but given the fact that the overall blue is fairly basic and you can probably, get away without using the right numbering, or just do it anyway. And almost forgot as well, kit does come with rubber wheels, so that's one of those things you're going to have to look out for, as I've had experience with other kits that use rubber wheels where the wheels have gone bad. So that's just something to look out for. So, overall, it's a decent kit. I mean, obviously it's got its issues given its age. The misnumbering, the lack of a rear cockpit, something which if you can, obviously source from other kits the right type of seat for that, you can go ahead and do it. And overall, I would recommend it. Obviously, I can't speak for the Italeri and the later boxing, but at least in this particular boxing, I would say it's definitely one to look into, as it will build up to a pretty decent kit. So that was a look at AMT's 1/48 scale F7 Tigercat. Until next time.